Hey everyone, James Conrad here, defending US champ. We're coming right up on the 2020 USDGC, and I want to thank Gatekeeper for filming a practice round with me today. I'll be going through some of my shots, some of the things that are on my mind while I'm out here warming up to try to defend my title. Hole 1 is not one of my favorite starting holes. Last year we started over here on 3, but we're back to the old hole 1, and this one's almost a mandatory flick hole, so I'm just trying to give myself a chance. You know, I have a serviceable flick. I'd say this might be the first tee shot in 2 years that I've actually thrown a forehand off the tee though, so we'll see how it goes. That one was my Star Thunderbird. It's one of my most comfortable discs for me to forehand. Just needs a little wrist pop, and if I put it on the right line, it'll fly pretty straight. And that's really what I'm looking for here. Get it down there, don't hit anything. Hopefully I have a putt for birdie. Oh, yikes. Looks like I was a little strong with the forehand. I'd much rather land somewhere in this area, at least give myself a putt at it, but if I have to, you know, I'll chip up for the easy par and move on to hole 2. I'll try one from where I'd like to land instead though. I'm definitely a bigger fan of hole 2 than hole 1. This is it's not too far of a par 4. It's just one that you kind of have to get yourself in position and then have a really precise upshot for the chance at birdie. I'm going to be ripping a wraith, trying to get a little turn on it, try to get just under those branches and out into the middle. A roller I sometimes practice, but it seems like it can either go long into the parking lot OB or it can turn over too much, and there's a little OB by the fence line on the right. So for me, just keeping it in play on this one's most important. I don't really need a ton of distance off the tee for a chance at birdie, so just trying to get it up there. That one should work pretty well. I came a little close to that tree on the left, but it had the turn I was looking for on it and was just low enough to get under the branches clean. It should be a prime spot for looking at a chance to get up and down for birdie here on 2. That wraith got me into a great position looking right at the basket. I'll have to throw over the parking lot, but which is OB. It's not something I'm too worried about though. You know, it's pretty much all the circle 1's nearly in bounds up there, so just got to get up there and get a putt. I'd rather not be too far right to try to avoid those pillars that kind of obstruct the putt if you're from the right, but should be a good spot to throw an AVR from. It's sometimes favorable to try to get a little more turn on the drive, and then you'll have a little hyzer upshot through this gap here. But if I make it this far, it should be a pretty routine up and down, pretty much no matter where it lands. Up here inbounds, it's looking good. This green can definitely be a little tricky. I'm first and foremost trying to avoid the parking lot here. You know, there's no need to go OB. And then these pillars can make interesting putts from the right, but being long-legged, it seems like pretty much no matter where I land over there, I can usually straddle one way or the other and have a fair chance at the putt. So the miss for me is definitely going to be trying to overturn my upshot and have to putt between these, but hopefully I can put it right there in the bullseye like that. Stepping up to hole 3. This is one of my favorite holes on the course. You're just looking right at it. It shows you exactly what you have to do, and it's just a matter of stepping up and executing. This one's pretty cool. It's the hole we started on last year, so each time this week I've stood up to this tee, it kind of brings back a little bit of the first hole jitters that I was feeling last year. Like especially that final round, leading going into the final round of a major is definitely a feeling, you know, I won't forget. Kind of puts you right in the focus, but a little bit of nerves, a little bit of excitement, all those feelings kind of come back to me on this tee pad, so that's definitely a lot of fun. Thanks. Yeah, I'll throw another one. That one was an AVR. I have two that fly pretty similarly, so definitely throw both on this one. It's just a lot of fun. One of my favorite shots to throw is obviously like a firm, powerful AVR shot, and this hole sets up perfect for that. So it's one I'm excited to throw each time. It's definitely easy to get in trouble here. If you're a little early on your shot, you can end up in the hazard on the left, and if you're a little scared of the hazard, you can end up in the trees on the right. The trees aren't too bad. A par is okay here, as it pretty much is on every hole in this course. But yeah, with my AVRs, if it's not too windy on this hole, I'm looking to birdie it every time. Oh. Ooh. Never really bothers me too much in a practice round if I'm a little sloppy on the putting green. It's hard for me to really get in the focus level that like where I need to make those putt that I do get into during a tournament. So you know, in practice round, the putting, it's more just to stay loose, stay comfortable, see how my release is feeling, and if I make them, cool. But if not, I'm not sweating it. I think hole 4 is one of the most unique holes on the course. You know, it's a tight gap. It's a slow bend to the right, followed by a sharper, almost U-turn back to like a protected green. It's a It's a great par 4, especially if you're only being 444 feet. For making a tough par 4 that's that short is pretty cool. For me, I'm throwing a understable fairway. I'm going with a night strike on this hole. Just trying to hit this initial gap and hopefully slowly fade to the right, down to the bottom of the hill. There's a few spots I can get to that make birdie a good possibility, but without a perfect drive, I'm very content playing this hole for par. That one might have worked out. I think it might have turned a little too early. I'll try one more. This one's a road runner. I throw it for rollers sometimes, or hyzer flip shots like this. I think that's about what I'm looking for. There's a little hill down there. It looked like I might have just gotten down the hill. If it's far enough, but not too far, I should have another little turnover towards the basket. Both my shots ended up in pretty similar places. The night strike, I think, turned a little early. Got a sneaky gap to get down to an all right spot. It's still a hard up and down for me from there. Really from either. I'm looking for about another 30 feet down into that little flat area to have a straighter shot into the green, but I'll play both of them. Just on a shot like this, it's going to be really difficult to actually get down there in circle one, and going for that is going to possibly bring in some mistakes. So I'm probably just going to play a smooth turnover to kind of aiming for that gap in between the trees up there. That puts you just outside circle one. If I can land anywhere near 40 feet on that downhill putt, I feel pretty confident I can make that one for the birdie. So yeah, that's probably my gameplay here. Those were both just about what I was looking for. You know, they'll both give me a chance at birdie. Neither one of them's a tap-in birdie or a gimme, anything like that. But sometimes when you see people over here, they'll try something kind of crazy like a cut roller to try to really get close. But I feel like that just brings in a lot of trouble that's unnecessary on this hole. These are some of the scarier putts you'll come across in a tournament. It's only about 40 feet, so it feels like you really need to make it. Especially myself, it's a lot of times one of my strengths in my game is that distance putting. But with the downslope and the trees behind it, it can definitely get you in some trouble getting too aggressive. But I step up to these like I'm going to make it, and then if for whatever reason my brain's just telling me no, you know, maybe I'll give it a cautious bit or even lay up if that were water right behind it. But I'd say probably 8 times out of 10 I'm trying to make this one, absolutely trying. Playing this one, 1 down, playing it 2 lies out is great. It should have been 2 down, could have easily dropped that second putt as well. That second one's a good example of why I'm not usually scared to run putts like that. I feel like most of my misses are either going to be into the cage or maybe weak side or strong side chains. I feel like it's pretty dang rare I'm going to be airballing those and really get myself into trouble. This is a golden orb weaver, something like that. He's been hanging out here all week practicing, watching drives on 5. He's probably seen thousands of them by now. Big dude. Hole 5 out here at WINTHROP is epic. Definitely one of the most iconic holes on the course, if not in the world. I mean, you can see it 1,000 some feet away across the water, and there's nothing really. You don't really have to do too much on any shot out here. You just have to keep your disc in play. You have to keep making some progress, and then your third shot, if you're playing it well, should be across the water. That might be the scariest one. To start, I'm going with a fairway driver. I'm going to throw Anheuser, kind of starting it off towards the lake, trusting myself to put it on enough turn to hold a smooth turnover and cover some good ground without ever really being in danger of doing anything too silly. This one's a Leopard 3. I've been digging this disc lately. That one's not quite what I want. I slid a little on the box and overturned it. I'll try one more. Try a T-bird. Still slipping on this box. It's a little wet out here in the morning, but hopefully I'll be playing later in the day, so shouldn't be an issue. This Leopard ended up here on the right side of the fairway, which is not really what I'm going for. It's not too bad. I like to throw a little bit of a turnover on my second shot anyway, so being on the left, being on the right's, it's okay. Ideally, my drive will be a bit further and be a little bit closer to the water, and then I can just have a dead straight shot moving down the fairway to put myself in position to cross. That one was okay. I could use a little more distance, but like I was saying, this one is just really about keeping it in play, and then once it's time to cross the water is when you kind of have to make a decision of how aggressive you want to be. Looks like I'm probably close to 400 feet, maybe at least 350 out. Check with the rangefinder, but on this one, if I get close to this last tree here, or if I'm really close to the water, it's a pretty routine putter shot across the water for me. This one's not in a great position to really attack this upshot, so I'll probably just be throwing another fairway driver, trying to land maybe edge of circle 1 on the right-hand side of the basket. If I'm in circle 2 over there, that's okay. You know, a chance at birdie or easy par on this hole is just fine. I was reading about 140 yards, about 420 feet, so yeah, a little out of range to try to throw it real close with a putter or mid, but should be pretty easy to just get across the water and a long chance at birdie. Left that one a little low, still had enough juice to clear the water. Should be a long putt, easy par, but could have been a little safer with that one with a little more air under it. Around this area, like I was saying, this last tree on the right is more where I'm looking for my second shot to land. And if I'm here, I'm pretty comfortable throwing a putter right at the basket, making that birdie a lot easier. Yeah, hole 5, it's super manageable. You know, if you're just trying to get the par, if you're playing it smart, playing it safe, there's really quite a bit of wiggle room. Like, I didn't have any very good shots, and I still had a long look at birdie that I was almost able to make. If you get 1 or 2 great shots, though, it's definitely one that you like to attack for birdie. I still remember last year. It's funny how certain greens can like trigger memories, but I was putting from right around here, maybe 25 or 30 feet, and missed my first circle 1 putt, I believe, of the tournament, the final round last year, and that just shook me a little bit, you know. And I was able to hold on, but it's funny how one little miss, like, you start to tell yourself this story in your head, and that's not always the best way to do it. You know, just take it 1 shot at a time. Who cares if it was your first miss or your 10th miss? Just don't miss the next one, you know. Hole 6, referred to as the beach hole by a lot, is down here in this little pit of sand. It's 371 feet. Just a smooth little hyzer shot is really all it's asking for. It's a pretty routine shot. On this one, I'm just thinking to keep my throw nice and smooth. You don't need too much power. Keep it nice and low. There's some branches, and if you get it coming in low with a little hyzer, you can usually get a nice forward skip right down there into the sand. About just how I drew it up. That Star Thunderbird's pretty consistent for me. You know, just a nice smooth throw. It'll do what I'm expecting it to. It's nice to have a disc you can trust like that. One thing that always comes to mind on this hole is the drop zone. Any out of bounds shots proceed to the drop zone, which is about a 45-foot putt, looking right at the basket, but looking with the water right behind it. So I'm not 100% sure, but in the past we've always played it that if you go OB from the drop zone, you're still playing from the drop zone. So it's a cool little risk-reward moment. You know, if you're feeling confident, if you're feeling like you can make that 45-footer, you can save your circle 3, but it's also how you can kind of snowball on a hole and end up with a 7 or something like that. It's a risky one, but it sure feels good to make that drop zone putt. Hopefully I don't have to take this putt this week, but it's nice to have done a few practice putts from it if it comes up during the tournament. From that drop zone, I tried my normal jump putt on the first one, and then I tried a little bit of a safety putt, which, as I was mentioning, that hole can kind of get out of control if you're zinging them by from the drop zone. So it can be good to try a little lob putt, give it a chance and not really risk going out of bounds. Hole 7, the Clown's Mouth hole. I always look forward to throwing this one. With a straight putter shot, it feels pretty routine. I'm not going to say I've never missed it or anything like that, but I feel like I have a pretty nice percentage on this hole. One cool thing this one always brings back to me is 2 years ago, when I first made a final round lead card here at USDGC, I was playing with Kevin and Paul and I believe Sexton, and yeah, I'd gotten the box after I birdied hole 6 to take the box, and stepping up onto hole 7 with the crowd, just like, the gallery was pretty much surrounding the entire hole, like behind us to both sides, all along the road, and just a pretty overwhelming feeling having that many people, watching. It's really special. It's cool, and it's so much fun to be able to play in front of a gallery like that. It's been a little tough this year without big galleries like that, but it's awesome to know you all are watching from home. Oh, yikes. Came out a little early. I don't know if I actually missed the Mando, but either way, it's not what I want. That one's more like it. Nice and low, nice and straight. Never really a chance to do anything but get right up there for a putt. This one's pretty unique in that it has 2 drop zones. You can choose whichever one you like. Neither of them are easy, neither of them are too hard. So I feel like a lot of people will step up to either one if they want to make it, maybe try a little flick, but it's pretty much going to be a 4 if you miss the Mando. Every now and then someone might make this, but that's rare. Hole 8, it's another par 4 out here. It's one of the harder holes for me to birdie. I'd say hole 4 and hole 8 are 2 of the ones that I'm most okay with just kind of making par. It's everything kind of has to go right for me to get birdie on either of these holes. This one, the tee shot's not too demanding. I'm taking a Thunderbird. I'm just trying to throw it straight, trying to get close to 400 feet, maybe a little better out of this shot, and I prefer throwing a roller on the approach. It's the only really way for me to get a birdie easily. So yeah, just dead straight off the tee pad. It's not too demanding of a shot, but from there it's where it gets tricky. Got the tree you gotta miss, but I'll throw one more. Somewhere in between those two shots would be ideal for me. The T-bird I threw second was a little too high. Let's have time to drift left at the end. The Thunderbird was about the height and speed I like, just started off a little left and caught a tree. So either one of them is fine. They're playable, but yeah, neither one of those is too great either. As I was saying, the roller is my goal on the second shot here for birdie. With this side slope that you can see to the left of the foul ball pole, that side slope likes to keep your disc on cut, so you almost have to overturn the roller to get it almost vertical on that little side slope to get it to keep going straight and then finish right towards the basket. I like the angle. I liked everything about that except for where I started from. I shouldn't be throwing from this short on this pad, so that ended up coming up short because I was throwing from 100 or 150 feet short of where I'd like to be. And from up here, it's been fun. I've been actually throwing a greeny roller for my approach. You don't see too many putter rollers, especially not with something as flippy as this, but this roller is really about the shape. It's not that far to the basket from here. It's, maybe only 200 or 250 feet. So just trying to get something that I can get down on that side slope, roll pretty straight, and hopefully finish to the right. Yeah, that'll do. Just outside the circle. Should be a little uphill putt. Chance at birdie. Anywhere up here is slightly an awkward spot to be. It should be a pretty easy little layup and for par. Like I was saying, this one's hard to really get the birdie on, so just being anywhere in here and chipping up and taking your par, you're not really losing many strokes to many people there. Oh. This green can be really tricky if you come a little long. As you can see, this bush has gotten massive. Like last year, it was definitely possible to kind of putt around or through it, but that's another reason I might go with the putter roller on the approach if I'm in position for it, that it's a lot less likely to go too long and have no chance at the putt. Hole 9 out here at WINTHROP is one they seem to tweak a little bit every year. This year's iteration of it is a pretty challenging hole. It's a narrow fairway lined by out of bounds, and then after about maybe 450 feet there's a little gap, and then there's an island green. So the idea is to just get one inbounds, I'm trying to push a fairway driver kind of over the right out of bounds line on a little bit of a hyzer to get myself in position to throw a putter approach for the easy birdie. If the wind gets a little crazy back here, I'm going to be pretty content just maybe going putter, putter, putter on this whole planet for the par, because it's one that you could get a big number on. You know, they've modified a lot of the upcoming holes to have more hazard and less out of bounds, taking out some of the tin cup possibilities. So this is one that you could still definitely make some mistakes on and end up with a really big number, like a round killer. We go with the Leopard 3 again. Like I was saying, just inside or just over the right out of bounds line, trying to keep it on a little bit of hyzer and hopefully carry close to 400 feet safely in bounds. Let that one leak a little left on me. It was the flight I was looking for. I just didn't start it out quite on that line I was talking about. It was a little inside. It might have held on to the inbounds up there, but even if that one leaks out of bounds, that's definitely the better mistake, because I get to play it from way up there where it went out, and saving par is still possible. If you pull this one early right, then you're not advancing far off the tee, and that's definitely the worst mistake here. Might just be about on top of the Leopard, so I think they should both be in a nice spot. So yeah, both the shots ended up in very similar spots. The first one just skipped out of bounds, and the second one just held inbounds. Either way, the lie will be nearly the same, so it should be pretty routine up and down, either for par or for birdie, depending on which drive I had. The island green, as I was saying, this is where this starts to come into effect. So you only get to advance to the island if you come to rest on the island. So if you sail the basket and go OB long, you can move up to this OB line here, but you're still throwing back at the island again. So there's a lot of room on the left side of this green if you're not in great position to attack, but if I'm way up here, I'm trying to put it close to the bucket. Like I was saying, if it's really windy or for whatever reason I'm feeling too shaky on that tee pad, I'll be happy to throw like a layup towards that tree back in the fairway. Maybe throw a second layup to the front of this island and have a pretty stress-free par, but I think more than likely I'll be attacking this one every time, trying to get that T-bird or that Leopard 3 up in this area, have about a 250-foot shot to the basket for birdie. Woo. Well, that wraps up the front 9 of WINTHROP Golds. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, hearing a little bit about what's going through my head on these tee pads, on these approaches, seeing what my game plan's looking like this week. And thanks so much to Gatekeeper, and thanks to Innova Champion. Make sure you check out Innova's channel for the back 9 video. Thanks.